Every time that I've had to rebuild my life, one thing was always true. Discipline, strength, and presence, they all fell apart when I tried to build them on my own. And look, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't until I started putting faith first that things actually felt solid. Not perfect, not easy, but just solid, you know? Now, let me make this clear. I'm not here to try push religion on you or anything. I'm not here to argue theology or just say that you have to believe exactly what I believe. I'm just sharing what I lived through. And you see, when I tried to build life on ego, on money, on validation, yeah, it worked for a little while. I had wins, I had a little bit of success, people saw me leveling up. But then life grabbed me and just shook me. And when that storm hit, it all fell down. It all came crumbling. Because deep down, I was building on sand. But you see, when I started leaning on God as my foundation, even the storms felt different. I still had challenges, I still had failures, but this time I just wasn't shaken the same way. And here's what I realized. Most men today are building on weak foundations. You see, we're told to chase status, money, women, aesthetics. And don't get me wrong, those things are cool. But if they're your foundation, then you're just setting yourself up to collapse. The guy who builds on ego, he crumbles when he's humbled. The guy who builds on validation, he breaks when nobody claps. The guy who builds on money, he falls apart when business is slowing down. But the guy who builds on faith, on values, on a mission bigger than himself, yeah, he might get knocked, but he doesn't collapse. So let me show you, how I've been living this out for myself. You see, every single morning, before I touch my phone, before I check messages, before I even start thinking about business, I read one chapter of the Bible and I pray. Nothing fancy, I'm not doing 2-hour devotionals. I'm just talking 10 minutes, just enough to anchor myself. What I've noticed is crazy. Discipline actually feels easier because I'm not grinding just for me anymore. I'm not waking up trying to prove anything to myself. I'm just waking up to serve something bigger. Even if you're not religious, just think about it this way. What is your anchor? What's your higher purpose? What keeps you steady when life shakes you? Because even if you don't have one, life, and I promise you, will find a way to shake you. I'll give you a real example. You see, there was a season where I questioned everything. I thought, should I just go back to a 9-to-5? Was I wasting my time chasing this vision? Maybe I should just throw in the towel and just say, fuck it, and just quit. Now, if it was just me versus me, I probably would have just tapped out. But leaning on God gave me the clarity to keep going. Not clarity for next year, not clarity for my entire life path, just clarity for today. And that's all I needed, because when you're in the storm, right, you don't need the full map, you just need the next step. So let me break it down for you, because I've been both guys. You've got the drifting man, right? He wakes up and the first thing he does is touch his phone. He scrolls until he feels anxious. He tells himself he'll get serious tomorrow. And every night he feels further and further away from the man that he knows he can be. And then there's the anchored man. You see, he wakes up and grounds himself before the world gets a chance to. He doesn't need external validation because he's already locked into his mission. He moves slower, calmer, but with more weight in every step. And people can feel that. You see, that's the difference that faith made for me. It's not that I became perfect overnight. I'm still far from it, and I always will be. It's that I stopped drifting. I stopped building on sand, and people can feel it. And here's the wild part. When you're anchored in faith, people can sense that. They pick up on it. You see, you don't have to posture. You don't have to fake confidence. You don't have to play a role anymore. You just walk differently. You speak differently. You carry a calm authority that doesn't need to be loud. You see, that's presence. And whether you believe in God or not, presence is magnetic. But presence without foundation is just fragile. And that's, I think, why so many guys look confident on Instagram, but break when life hits, because they're not actually rooted. And this ties into something bigger for me. You see, I've been reflecting a lot and I realized something. I don't want to just be known as another fitness guru. I don't want to just be known as a dating coach or a mindset coach, because I'm none of those. I'm neither of any of those things. I'm just a guy who has shifted his identity over and over and over again to reach new levels. You see, from being the nice guy that nobody noticed to someone who learned how to carry himself with confidence. From the factory worker with no direction to a corporate salesman who built a career from nothing. From a casual jogger to a marathon runner who proved he could finish the race. From an employee to an entrepreneur building something bigger. You see, every single time the shift started with faith. Faith in God, faith in the vision, faith in becoming more. That's why I'm building the 30-day identity shift, because identity is the root. And if you change who you are, everything else follows. Now, the full 30-day identity shift isn't ready yet. I'm still in the process of building it, workshopping it, and all that. I'm still in the lab. But that's why I created the 7-day masculine reset, because that's free, it's simple, gives you a structured clarity, and I guess daily action steps that you can take. Easy to follow, it's idiot proof, right? So even if you're in a season of isolation, even if you feel like you're drifting, you'll have a framework to lean on. So here's my challenge to you, brother. Find your anchor. For me, that's God. For you, it might start with purpose, with values, with mission. But then try to build without a foundation, because discipline, strength, presence, they're fragile without it. Now, if you're ready to start building from solid ground, click the link. It's in the description. Grab the free 7-day masculine reset and let's get to work, because your next level is waiting. Don't drift. Get to work and let's build. Let's go, let's get it, let's conquer. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.